So Bhante, if let's say in pain and in distress, a lot of people die in sort of heart attack or all sorts of suffering. So you can't watch your rising, falling. You can't watch your breath. Don't you think the best way then is Buddha?
No, even that also, as I mentioned just now, once you become clinically dead, after that your thoughts still carry on.
Not clinically dead yet. What I mean is, do the children or what sort of try to counter that? Say Buddha, because cannot watch rising, falling. What I mean, the mind is distracted. So you can't watch your rising, falling. You can't watch your breath. It's too subtle. So Buddha, say Buddha.
You can do anything, but then what is most important, I was trying to stress, is your everyday mind. Your everyday mind will determine your last thoughts.
So I guess that momentum cannot be controlled.
Cannot.
It is your build-up momentum.
Yes.
But what if someone who passed away at a very old, rightful age and peacefully, but those few months of life before that, they really have their amnesia, they cannot remember things. What do you think, even someone who has been practicing the Dhamma, when they come to that stage of life, do they still know the Dhamma while waiting for death to come? What would be in their mind then?
Still the same everyday thoughts.
They cannot remember the Dhamma because they're old, they cannot remember things, you see. What do you think is that?
On the conscious level, they may not remember the Dhamma, but in their deep consciousness, they would know.
Because they cannot remember people, the relatives close to them, they cannot recognize.
But that in that case, I think is basically something to do with the brain, not the mind. The mind and consciousness and the brain are two separate things. The dementia, this thing is the brain, the physical functioning. But I think the mind is still very clear. I think the mind is still very clear. If you have been practicing Dhamma and meditation. The mind and the brain are two separate.
Yes. You see, like last night in Ajahn Sumedo's talk, he mentioned something which struck me was very good. He said, somebody asked him about this anger and all that. And so he said, when it mentioned one incident that he could not agree with a monk, and he had a lot of problem with this monk, and they sort of hated each other's guts, to put it bluntly. So one day they had this meeting for this Ajahn Chah monasteries, Western monks, and he knew that this monk was coming. So he was very agitated. I'm not going to meet this monk again in this meeting. And all that, the anger, all the hatred came up. So he decided to go to his room and write down all the unpleasant things about this monk. And he wrote, he said 3-4 pages. All that anger, resentment, everything, what he calls vitriolic. So he wrote until he ran out of things to write. Trying to add one more thing also cannot. Then he thought to himself, and what else can I say about this? What else? What other feelings do I have of this monk? Then he realized that it was metta, loving kindness. So below all our conscious thoughts, actually, like this metta is natural to us. This loving kindness is natural to all of us. You see, like Mother Teresa, even though she doubted that God existed, she did all this work for all the poor people, not because of God, but because it's natural to her to love others and to help others. So actually this basic feeling in us is there. But the anger and all that arises out of conditions because of ill-spoken words and all this thing. Then that anger suddenly arises. But actually underneath it is this loving kindness towards all beings. So we must not only focus on what is thrown up in our mind, what is basic underneath is there. So in the same way, like if a person is dying, he might have amnesia and all that. That basic state of that mind, if it's a good mind, it's a good heart, that is what will bring you to a good rebirth. All of us, we have a conscience. If only we listen to our conscience, just keep quiet and listen to our heart. But all of us, we take our thoughts too seriously. These thoughts, our thoughts actually arise out of the ego, selfishness, and we want to protect ourselves. So this thinking mind is our best self-defense system. But it is not lofty, it is calculating mind, a cunning mind. But underneath that is what we need to look for. So we need to listen to our conscience more, listen to ourselves. Like praying, sometimes we last time I came from Catholic school. So during recess time, I used to go to the chapel and pray. And we pray very deeply. Actually, what are we calling out to? Who are we praying to? Actually, we are going deep into our mind. We are calling out to our mind deep inside us. And the one that answers us is also deep inside us. Okay. And